All right, so we're still on page 111. Now we're going to talk about the power rule. So remember when we went over all the different rules, exponent rules, log rules, the power rule means when you have an exponent on an exponent. So as an exponential function, if we had x to the third power all raised to the fifth, what that means is I'm going to multiply the power rule. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to multiply my exponents. If I have it as a log, let's say log base 2 of x plus 3 all raised to the second power, I have a power on a power, okay? Exponent on an exponent. So what that means is I'm going to take this exponent, I'm going to drop it to the front and multiply, and then that exponent goes away. So I end up with 2 times log base 2 of x plus 3. Okay, so the power rule just means, excuse me, you have an exponent on an exponent. So, excuse me, number 10 for on page 111 is ln of x to the third power. All right, now remember ln is a natural log. It's the logarithm for base e. Okay, so we still have an exponent on an exponent. So all you're going to do is you're going to drop this 3 to the front and multiply. So it's 3 times ln of x. And that's it. You've just taken this exponent and you've dropped it to the front and then multiplied. Okay, so that's the power rule. Number 11 says log of x minus 2 to the fifth power. So again, a log is just an exponent. So I'm going to take this 5, I'm going to drop it to the front. So I get 5 times log of x minus 2. Number 12 says log base 5 of the square root of x. So now if you notice, we don't have an exponent. We don't have an exponent on an exponent, but we actually do. So remember your exponent rules. When you have a radical, okay, this is a radical, the index, I'm going to write it this way. I'm going to make it big. The index is this number here. The radicand is inside. And the exponent is whatever the radicand is raised to. Okay? So for this one, if you have the square root of x, if there's no number there, it's an assumed 2. If there's no number as an exponent, it's assumed 1. So it is the same base, x to the 1 over 2. So remember, this is what's called a rational exponent or a fractional exponent. Fractional exponent just means it's a root or a radical. Okay? So for this generalized version, it's going to be whatever your radicand is, so the base, raised to the exponent divided by the index. Okay? Now, I have some people that will do it this way. If you have x squared, the cube root of x squared, they just drop this down and make it the denominator. Okay? So radicals are actually another way to write a fractional exponent. So I'm going to rewrite this as log base 5 x to the 1/2 power. So now you can see I have an exponent on an exponent. Exponent on an exponent. So I'm going to drop this to the front and multiply. Okay? So number 13, running out of room. This is a natural log of the 5th root of x squared. So again, if I were to rewrite this, it would be the natural log of x. Remember, you drop your index down to the 2/5. So this is an exponent on an exponent, so I drop this to the front, 2/5 times ln of x, and that's your answer. Okay? All right. So that is when you're using the power rule.